our programs will use a lot of input provided by users, but we also generate random input to simulate user input, or to simulate kind of random movements in a game. So for this reason, we need to learn how to generate random numbers, and both integer numbers and real numbers. So next guided activity will teach us how to work with random numbers. And we'll start by creating our package, which will be module to activity free program 1. And let's name this program, this class, random generator. And again, generate comments, generates the main class. It says that this is a program. And we'll start by commenting the main function, and then we'll use the same comments for our class. So first of all, we'll start with something very simple. Generate a random number between 0, generate and print. Let's put here print and generate and print random number between 0 and 1. And it's something tricky with these random numbers. We'll understand later why. But 1 is exclusive, so it's not included. 0 is inclusive, so it is included. So basically, it will generate a real random number that may be 0, 0.1, 0.9, 0.99999, but will never be 1. So that's what we will have. And here we'll have for now two parts: generate numbers, and then we'll have print numbers. And sure, I separate them because generally you generate numbers not to print but to do something else with them. So that's why it's always useful to separate. So let's put here, we'll have a double because this is a real number. Let's put real 1 or random 1, or let's make it more clear, real random 1, which will be a number between 0 and 1. And we are lucky because Java comes with a function named random that does exactly this, generates a random number from 0 to 1, including 1 and including 0 and excluding 1. Now we can print our number random real in interval, and here we can write 0 to 1 like this. So 0 is including, this is a math notation, 0 is included, 1 is not included, and here we'll put real random 1. So let's see how this code works. We can just run it, we don't have, and as you can see, a random number was generated, and it's if we run it again, you'll see different numbers. Each time it's a different number between 0 and 1 generated. Let's put here a space to look nicer. Now this was the first one, but this is not so exciting up to now. What we like to do is to make this a little bit more complicated. We want to receive first two double numbers A and B in the command line. So let's start by receive two double numbers A and B in the command line. So this is what we do for now, and here two double numbers. And we'll see what we'll do with them. We want basically to use them to generate random numbers based on these two real number that we'll receive in the command line. So read command line values. This will be the first operation, and if you don't remember, let's define a, and to read the command line we need to parse double, which is provided as a string as a first argument, and to read the second one b, we'll do the same thing for the second argument. Okay, so now we have A and B, which are two double numbers, and we want to generate some real let's put here generate and print a real random number, or let's do it in another way. Let's put here between 0 in class if 1 is class if. Then the next one will be between 0 inclusive and a exclusive. Okay, so now we know how to generate a real random between 0 and 1, right? So that's what we did here. It was 0 to 1. Now what we want to generate will be another, and I will just copy this one for now, and you'll see now why. We will want between 0 and a, and this will be real random 2. So how we can do that? How if we have a number between 0 and 1, how we can get a number between 0 and a? And if you think a little bit, if you we may assume here that a is any real number. Is not 0. If it's 0, it will not help, because it's between 0 and 0, it makes no sense. So to generate such a number, we just multiply by a, because we have one number between 0 and 1. If we multiply by a, 0 will remain 0. When we multiply by a and 1, the numbers as goes toward 1, they will not reach 1, but they will come closer to 1. If we multiply by a, they will come closer to a. So basically, having a number between 0 and 1 helps me now to generate a number between 0 and a. And this will be another number, because I can call again the mass random method, so those two numbers will have nothing in common. Now we'll need to put here random real in interval 0a, and here we'll have real random 2. But as usual, we also want to print the numbers that we read. First double will be a, and sure, because we are here, we can also print the second double, which will be b. So right now we have a real number between 0 and a. Let's see how it works. We haven't put yet run configuration for it. So we need to put arguments, and let's put, we may put even negative numbers. Let's put, because it's real, we may put minus 5.5 and 10.2. These are two real numbers, perfectly right. And as you can see, we got a real in 0, 1, and 1. Sure, the interval doesn't look good now because a it's less than 0, but it's harder to write it as an interval with the knowledge that you have. So we'll keep it like this. even if it's not mathematically perfectly correct. So if we run it again, you will get other numbers, and because our first number is negative, always the second number will be negative. Now let's do something else, and the next one is the most fun one, because I want between A inclusive and B exclusive. So basically right now I no longer want to just an A and B, I want between two given numbers. And that's becoming a little bit more complicated. Now, to better understand this, let's start by doing the following. So you'll have real random free. Now we have a number between 0 and A, but this doesn't help me with what I want to do next. Next I want between A and B. How many numbers are between A and B? So it's B minus A. So this is a number of numbers that are between A and B. So now if I want to generate one of these numbers, I can do so if I multiply with B minus A. So right now I have a number that is, I generate numbers between 0 and B minus A, but I want to start with A and not to B minus A. So because I want to start with A, I need to add A to this formula. So first one will just generate numbers, because I have the A and B fixed and I want numbers between them. I need to generate something of the size that is between A and B, which is B minus A, and then I want to start with A, so I add A, because mass random generates between 0 and a maximum value. So that's why I need to put this formula, and here I assume B is greater than A. So here I'll have A and B, and again we assume I'll write here assume B greater than A. So again, if it's not, make no sense. So in our case, second number is greater than the first number, so this will be fine. So let's run again. And as you can see, I forgot to print it. So let's print the real number 3. So I will have AB here, and this will be real random 3. Now, if I am looking at a number, random number between, is the last number that it's shown between minus 5.5 and 10.2, each time, so look at the last number and run it several times, and you see you'll get both positive and negative numbers, more positive than negative, because here is a negative one, because it's 2 times more likely to be a positive one, because you start with minus 5.5, you have 5 here and 10 positive, so it's twice more likely to get positive than negative, but you will get both positive and negative, so as you run the program several times. So this pretty much show us how to generate real numbers. Now we want to do something similar for integers. So and it's very similar. The only thing that we want to do is that after we get such a number, we want to keep only the integer part. So we don't want the numbers to have decimals in the case of integers. So let's modify this, and we receive two double numbers, A and B in the command line, and two integer numbers M and N. So first I want also to read two integers, and if you remember, to read two integers we have parse int, and the next argument is 2, and same will do for n. So and the next argument is 3. So now we have the two numbers, and what we want to do is to generate and print integer random number that satisfies some conditions. Let's start with an easy one between 0 inclusive and m, and let's keep it exclusive for now because I want to go very similar with what we had before. So now we'll have int random 1, and let's start with this one that seems to be the closest one, but here I want m, and I don't want, I want the set 0, 1, 2, m minus 1 in this case, because it's without m. I want to generate the number 0, 1, 2, 3, to m minus 1. Now, as you can see, Java detected an error because this is a double, it's not an int. Now, to convert a number from one type to another, Java allows us to do it with some basic methods. So we can we can force this real number to be interpreted as a integer. So as you can see, if I cast it, I will obtain int. I cast to int to the type, so I need to use the same type like here. And this doesn't work between any two types, but works for numbers because sure, I can always ignore the decimal part and cast to the whole number part. So let's take this one, which is closest to what I want to put, and I'll put here random int in interval 0, m, and here I'll have int random 1, and I need to put also the two numbers that I just read. So first int and second int, and here I will have m and n. And I think we have a program, but before we run, we need to update our configuration to put new arguments, and let's put here between -100 and 100, and run, or let's put 10 and 100. Let's put some two positive numbers because we had negatives for reals. It will work with any combination. You can play with any combination you want. Okay, because we didn't modify here, I got a negative one and I was amazed why, but we didn't put the m as I specified. So look at a, and a was minus 5.5, so generated a negative one based on a. So now we have 0, now we have 7. Keep in mind a is 10, so you may have various numbers from 0 to 9. That's what we have here. It's to m minus 1. And this is pretty inconvenient because if I give you a number, I generally want that number. At least when I play with integers, I really want to see all integers. So let's take a random 2 in which I also want to have m. How we do to have m from 0 to m? And basically, we just need to think that, okay, what this means that what I generate needs to be one more. So if I generate from to m plus 1 here, I multiply with m plus 1, this will increase with 1 the range of integers that I am having. So let's put here in set 0, 1, and here I'll have m minus 1 initially, and then the second one will be 2m. This will be in random 2. So right now I have this new random number that also may take, and our first int is 10. We'll need to run a few times to get 10, but if we run a few times, I'm sure we'll eventually get a 10. Look, we got a 10. So right now we also got a 10 for the second number. And that's what we wanted for the second number. Now, sure, we can play with this, and let's say now I want the third number to be between 1 and m. So how we'll do that? So to be between 1 and m, it's like adding 1 here. So instead of 0, you get 1, instead of 1, 2, and instead of m, it's 1, 1. So we can use this one as a template, and to get between 1 and m, we just add a 1 to our result, because that's where we start. So when you want to start from another number, generally you add that number to something that generates from 0, and that will work. Now let's run. We need to print this one. My prints, it's not very nice. Let's make it nicer. So we want this one, and here we like from 1 to so and so to m. So this will be in random free, and sure, if we run it, it will show me something between 1 and 10, and you cannot make it fails, but if you run a few times, you'll see that all numbers are between 1 and 10. We got 1 here, and we'll get probably a 10 sometime. We got a 9, 10. Okay, so we got a 1 and 10, but we didn't get less or different numbers. So as you can see, we didn't get 0 or 11. So this seems to work fine. And these tests are very important. Generally, when you write code, you need to test it, and this is a way to test it, running it with various inputs. In our case, are just random numbers, but you can run it several times, so you will see that it runs correctly. Now, the most complicated one is when we want an int between m and n, including m and n. And this, you will see why this is the most complicated formula that you need to know. So first of all, you want to start with m, so we need to add m to whatever random number we compute, and we want an int. And now we'll need to generate a random between 0 and 1, and multiply with how many numbers we have. So how many numbers are between m and n? And it's easy to compute this by seeing, for instance, between 5 and 7, including 5 and 7, how many numbers we have. So we have 5, 6, and 7. So we have 3 numbers. But if we make the difference, 7 minus 5 is 2, is not 3. So it's basically the difference plus 1. And you can check this with any numbers you want, and you will see that this will generate a number that will start, and again we assume m is less than n, so that's an assumption we make. So it will start with m m plus 1 and so on until it will reach n. So it will generate all numbers between m and n. And in our case, it's 10 and 100. So let's see now our last method, how it looks like. And let's put this set here. It will be random 4. Now, let's run this program several times and look at the last line that it's printed. Always check the last line. And n minus n. Between m and n, it's n is greater than m. Yeah, it will work the other way, but a little bit strange. So I don't want to confuse you, but I make a mistake. I need from the greater one to subtract the lower one. And we need to check that these numbers will be between 10 and 100, including 10 and 100. Sure, the probability to get 10 or 100 is very low, but we can see that we don't go outside the range. So all the numbers are between 10 and 100, and we don't go outside the range. Now, if you want to check the ranges, it's an easy way that you can do. You can modify the arguments, and instead of 10 and 100, you can put 10 and 15. So now if we run with these new numbers, you see I got 15 already. So because 13, 11, so this way it's an easy way to check 10. So I got 10, 15, and only numbers between 10 and 15. So this is an easy way to check that your formula is working fine. Okay, so this concludes our program to generate random numbers, and sure, I gave you a few formulas here, but these are very useful, and we'll use such formulas a lot during the course. So I strongly recommend you learn and understand this formula. It's hard to memorize them, but learn how to write them, how to think about them, and then it will be easy. So just keep in mind what the basic one is doing, and then how you go from one to another as I explained it to you.